All right, everybody, how you doing? I just got my Pi 5 in last week, and I'm starting to get it set up to do the things I wanted to do. And so I thought I'd use that opportunity to record a couple of tutorials for people who might not be as familiar with how to get things done. In this case, we're going to be using the Game Data Packager program to install two games, one from a GOG archive, one from an install directory, and then in the third instance, we'll be modifying some shell scripts in Linux releases of dosbox games from GOG so that they're able to run on ARM. I'll just give a little background to myself. I've been a Linux user for over 20 years now, going back to high school in the late 90s, early 2000s. I really had the benefit of coming up during the dot-com era when there was a lot of money floating around. I got my first Linux experience in a Microsoft-sponsored class. It was Red Hat 7. I also got my first 2 semesters of my CCNA as a elective, so it was a nice time to go to school. In this case here, we are using a Pi 5. It's running the 64-bit version of Pi OS. We're going to be installing Baldur's Gate, Ultima 7, and then it's not on here yet, but we'll also be doing a DOSBox point-and-click game, Star Trek the 25th Anniversary, one that's kind of near and dear to my heart. So we're going to start by opening up a terminal here. We'll start with the Baldur's Gate first. You notice I've got the GOG archive there. And there's going to be some software you want to make sure you have, so we're going to grab it here. I do believe I already have it installed on the machine. We're going to do an sudo apt-get install. And then what we're going to be getting here is the inno extract package. Inno is the program that the DOSBox executables for Windows use to pack themselves up together. So that's going to be important to have. It's just going to make everything run smoother. We also got some other files back here. Dark Forces, I'm going to be doing a engine compile and install, probably not on camera just because that's a little bit intensive and a lot of time just staring at a command line. So we're going to install inno extract here. Like I mentioned, I'll pull this over so that you can see everything on the terminal without a weird line break. We got those archives here. We know we're going to use them. Morrowind and Dark Forces are just install directories, plus our next game is just going to be an install directory. And we're also going to make sure we have this program called Game Data Packager. This is one that started showing up in my system in the mid-2000s or so. I didn't really understand what it was used for or anything up until, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 years ago. And then I definitely find it one of the more impressive and useful packages that are available today. What it does is it takes the data files that you need for various game engines that you're going to be running, and it puts them all together in a nice installable package that you can move and you can save, you can keep a hold of, put it in a external hard drive, and you've already always got it. It works not just for the Pi like I'm doing here. It'll work for your desktop too if you want to play on that. Just it's a nice thing to have. Once you generate the package, you don't really need it anymore. So I would recommend keeping them around, shoving them in some sort of archive. Maybe you have a cloud backup. Maybe you've got a USB hard drive. Now, if we're I'll be doing Warcraft 2. That one's kind of a pain to set up, but I'll be doing that off camera. Might show you guys how if you're interested, but let's get back to this now here. And we're going to run the Game Data Packager. We're going to tell it the package that we're putting together is going to be, nope, not Sea Stalker. It's going to be Baldur's Gate. It gives me the option we want the 1. There we go. And we're going to point it at that GOG archive that we want to extract. Set up Baldur's Gate. There we go. And it's going to read the archive file. It is a big archive. It's nearly 2 gigabytes. So this takes a little bit. Have patience. It'll come through. Now, once it's read through everything, it's identifying all the files it needs to get. And once it's found all those, it's going to start putting them together into a package for us. Here it goes. This also takes a while. You can see the package is generating up there on the top. I have run through this once before just to make sure that I remembered how to do everything and make sure that we get it all going. If you want to take a look at exactly what game data packager is capable of, you just run it by itself. It'll give you a nice list of all the files that are all the games that it's able to understand and able to do things with. Go up to the top there, you can see Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. It also runs the Icewind Dale games and Planescape Torment. Mind Forever Voyaging is one of the better of the Infocom text adventures, kind of a exploration of what Reagan's America really means. It's quite interesting. Doom games, obviously, those are quite popular. You got Duke 3D, played a lot of that. Oh, Doom 3. Yeah, Doom 3, I'm excited to try in the Pi 5. I tried in the Pi 4, and it's pretty close to playable. Frame rates in the high 20s. The Pi 3 should, or Pi 5 should knock out the park. You can run that on the Doom engine, DHEWM3. Eye of the Beholder is a couple classic D&D games. Those are great to play through. Heroes of Might and Magic 3, another fantastic one. I have that in my GOG. There's the Icewind Dale games I mentioned at the beginning. Jazz Jackrabbit is a great little platformer. Played Journeyman Project on an old Pentium when I was a kid in the mid-90s. That was a lot of fun. Alright, still just waiting on this package to come together here. And there we go. So we're able to sudo dpackage-i for install, and then it's called Baldur's Gate. There we go. Now it unpacks it and installs it to the system directories. One of the great things about the data packager is most of the game engines are intelligent enough to know where to look for this. They've all kind of agreed upon a shared system-wide installation folder for the game data. So once you have it in there, it just gets automatically recognized. It's very nice. You'll notice it's saying it's unpacking it over the other one because like I said, I did run through this once before off camera. And there we go. All done with that. So if this had been my first time installing this, it would have recognized to tell me what game engine I should install. But we're going to go ahead and do this now. sudo apt-get install. We're looking for gemRB. Misspelling there, gemRB, and then we specifically want to install the package for the original Baldur's Gate, no number. It's going to go ahead and get us what we need. There we go. So now if I come down here, I can open this up, go to my games, and there is gemRB. Up here we have the Baldur's Gate specific one. Go ahead and launch that. And you can see, there we go. Everything runs just fine with this. Clear some junk off the screen for you. Skip past some of the movies. Character creation goes well. Let's just import a character to make it quick and easy. Just all the defaults are fine. Default name is fine. And there we go. This was a great game. I think it came out in '99, pretty sure. Baldur's Gate 3 obviously is all over the news now. It won Game of the Year and all that, but the originals are a bunch of fun. It's a mixture of D&D, I think, to 2.5 and 3rd edition rules. But yeah, everything works perfect. It's pretty close to a flawless experience for the original Baldur's Gate. Let's see here. Now, if we try to run Game Data Packager against the GOG package, it really does not like it for whatever reason. It's not something I'd really come across before. But we do have a solution to this. Our workaround to that is we're just going to extract this Ultima 7 installer into its own file here. It does get a little bit messy. It doesn't extract it all into a single folder, so we're just going to make one ourselves. Copy the installer over and then open up a command line. We're just going to do your usual inno extract here. You'll get pretty familiar with this. Inno is a relatively painless command to run. It just, you point it at a file and it extracts the contents. So we got this here. You're going to see that app folder. That's the important one. The other ones are just stuff for the GOG installer. So we're going to come down here, pull this open so there's no weird line breaks. We're going to run game data packager again. And instead of pointing it at a file, let's see, Ultima 7 packages we're looking for, we're going to point it at that app directory. So /app/, that lets it know the app directory is in the current directory. And it starts building our package. Ultima 7 is a much smaller game than the last one we did, Baldur's Gate, so it shouldn't take too long, just a few seconds here. Extracts the first one, now it's packaging up the second one. Serpent Isle is kind of an expansion, kind of a sequel. It's its own thing. And just about now we should have both of them. Yep, there we go. And you can see, since my first time installing these, it does recommend what game engine we use. That's going to be Exult. So let's do sudo apt-get install, and we'll install Exult. Yeah, it's like just the base name there is what we need. It's going to get 181 megabytes of disk space to use. It's mostly going to be those sound fonts there in terms of the space it's taking up. So let it get everything off the Wi-Fi here. And we don't have our game data installed yet, so let's just leave these blank for now. We can go ahead and hit enter for OK. And for Serpent Isle, same thing. So now Exult is installed. And you can see the names of those two deb files we got. And we're going to go ahead and install those. So sudo dpackage-i for install. And just put an asterisk there so it gets both of them. It's going to go ahead and install those for us. There we go. Now if we come down here, run games, and then open Exult. That music's fantastic. And yep, we got both of them here, Silver Seed and the Forge of Virtue. And if we open them up, we come right into the game, no problems. Everything runs like it should. We've got all the music. We've got all the visuals. I think this game came out in 93? Somewhere around there. Yeah, start new game. You are the avatar in the Ultima games, so let's go ahead and type that in. And journey onward. There we go. Everything works as it should. It's pretty flawless. Excellent game, by the way, if you ever want to play through it. One of my absolute all-time favorites. And then that's going to bring us, in just a moment here, into our third way of installing games, which is going to be installing them from a Linux dosbox install from a GOG. So open up my GOG library here. Star Trek 25th Anniversary. I think I played through a few missions on this for the channel. It's one of my favorites. It's a point and click game that's not runnable via ScumVM. It's its own thing. So I've already gone ahead and downloaded that 400 megabyte install file. So we're going to start a new file because, remember, it uninstalls it pretty messy here. And then copy our Linux installer in there. And then it is a shell script that won't run. It'll detect that it's on the wrong architecture. But if you just point unzip at it, it'll pull all the files out. So there's no worries about that. It'll come through just fine. And yeah, that DAT file is a CD audio. Was one the last time the original crew got together. So we're going to open up the data here, which is what we want, and no arch. And if you look at the start.sh file, this is where a lot of the magic is going to happen. Open up that with a text editor, you'll notice there's this run dosbox routine it calls. And it's getting that, if you look at the source up there, getting that from support/gog_com.shlib. It's a library of shell routines that it's put together. So if we go open that, support gog_com.shlib, open that in text editor, and there's our run DOSBox routine. If you notice, it's calling its own special DOSBox that it's got, ./DOSBox/DOSBox, and it's passing it some config files. We want to keep those config files, but we want it to use the system DOSBox. So let's just delete that there. So it's just calling DOSBox from the path. Go ahead and save our file here. Now you do want to make sure that you have DOSBox installed. So let's do that real quick here. sudo apt-get install DOSBox. Let that run. I've got it installed, so we don't need to worry about it. Let's go back up to where our start.sh file is, right there. And if we open up a terminal now, and give it a good old ./start.sh and run that. Well, look at that. Opens up perfectly. DOSBox runs, no problem. It's even got the CD audio. Doing pretty nice for itself there.
Demon World.
Just showing that it works fine. We'll go ahead and get out of here because we don't need to actually play through this. And there you go. So that's been a little taste of how to use these utilities to get a native code gaming experience up and running. You can do some fancy things like stick this no arch folder into a hidden file or hidden folder in your home directory, make a desktop file so you can call it from the launcher or something like that. But it's kind of up to you. It does now run. It does now run as intended. It passes all the correct config files, and you use DOSBox that actually works on your folder or your computer. Excuse me. If you guys are interested in seeing some other engine ports and how to package them all together and how to get them to run, just leave a comment. Otherwise, I hope you have a great time.